Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Deandra Levon. If you are new here, thanks so much for stopping by. I hope you stick around. And if you are not new here, then welcome back to the Clique. Alright y'all, so we are continuing on with our Ultimatum Queer Love reactions, and now we're on episode 3. So the episode starts off right where episode 2 left off, which was on the cliffhanger of Ray standing up to make her choice. And surprise, surprise, she does choose Vanessa. And she basically is just like, Vanessa is kind of her usual type, but yet she's still different. So Ray just wants to explore that. So Vanessa goes next and she chooses Ray confidently and she just basically says that Ray would be a great wife and she's really excited to do the process with her. So this whole time they're like showing Lexi and she is mad, y'all. Like she is rolling her eyes, sipping her drink, like it was awkward. So next, Mal stands up and she chooses Lexi. She's like, I always knew I was gonna choose Lexi. She's a phenomenal woman. We've talked about raising biracial kids together. It's a whole thing. Lexi is like, you know, I feel like I know Mal more than 99% of the people on Earth. And it's just kind of like, really, girl? After 1 week? All right. She kind of says a bunch of other sweet things and Mal actually starts kind of tearing up. And y'all, it literally looked like these two had been a couple for a minute. Like it looked like an engaged couple or something. And Yoli is really upset. She's crying and it was kind of sad. So Lexi stands up and she chooses Mal, of course, and says that there's no one else that she would want to do this experience with. And they show Ray and Ray is like, really? No one? Like this whole situation is too much. So next is Ozzy's turn and she says that Mildred is a very deep and inspiring person. So of course, that's who she chooses. Mildred says that Ozzy is one of the best people that she's ever met. And she talks about how Ozzy went from not wanting marriage to wanting marriage in just a few days and how proud she is of Ozzy. And then she kind of takes this moment to kind of preach almost to the rest of the group and she's like, see y'all, this is why all of you need to be taking this experience really seriously, like Ozzy is. We can really learn from this. And it's just like, okay, well, Ozzy hasn't really learned anything yet, like calm down. So after all this, Tiff kind of jumps in. It wasn't even her turn, I don't think, but Tiff is like, well, to piggyback off of Mildred I just want to say, you know, I never really took marriage very seriously. I never really looked at what I needed to do to really commit to marriage. And she's just like, I really need to start putting my ego to the side and really leaning into love. And it was just kind of like, okay, well, we didn't really ask you yet, but thank you, Tiff. And after that, she starts talking about Sam and how she really loves Sam's energy and how warm and non-judgmental Sam is. Again, therapy vibes. We talked about that in the last video, that Sam really gives counselor therapy in the way that she approaches her relationships. So Sam gets up and talks about how caring and strong Tiff is, and then she chooses Tiff. And after that is like the most awkward moment probably of the whole episode, because Tiff gets up and it's like, you know, Sam, I don't want you to feel like I'm just using you as a replacement or like a side tool. I think it's the word she used. I don't want to use you as a side tool. And she's like, but I just choose you because you feel the most like home to me. But then she keeps talking and she eventually says, you know, throughout this process, I've tried to really lean into the process and be open-minded, but I've realized that I really just want my ex. Like, it was so awkward. So Tiff is crying, Mildred is crying, they are a hot mess. Eventually, Mildred just gets up and walks away from the table, and of course, in typical Tiff fashion, she gets up too and follows after Mildred, and she actually tries to like talk to Mildred, and Mildred is like, no, I don't want to talk to her right now. So there's that. And Mildred is basically just like, you know, I've never even gotten this side of Tiff before, and I've been asking for Tiff to show me this, and now you want to do it because you see me moving on to somebody else. And it's like, well, yeah, that's usually how it goes with these types of situations. Tiff is just afraid that they're about to lose Mildred, and Tiff is panicking, and that's the only reason why they even did this. And actually, this similar thing happened on the straight version of Ultimatum, and it was the guy and the girl, and at the little choice dinner, the guy decided, like, you know what, I don't actually want to go through this process, and he stood up and proposed. He was like, honey, let's go home, I want to marry you. That's not what Tiff did, and I feel like if Tiff was really serious, that's what Tiff would have done. And I think that's how Mildred is feeling too. It's kind of like you're making this whole show and everything, but you're not really for real. So after all this, I'm just having like such secondhand embarrassment for Sam, because Tiff comes back still crying, Mildred comes back to the table, and Sam is just kind of sitting there like, well, dang, like, I know you're about to choose me, but you literally don't even want to do this experience with me. Like, you just said you wanted to do it with your ex. So I'm just kind of like your leftover choice, and I feel the most like home to you. It was not a good look. But Tiff does apologize to Sam, because I think Tiff realized like that was not cool and Sam didn't deserve that. And then we just kind of move on. So the host reminds them about how big of a decision marriage is, and they should take this seriously. And it's like, yeah, girl, I'm pretty sure they know, but thanks. So now it's time for the trial marriages to begin, and they just show all of them entering their brand new apartments and their new couples that they're going to be living in for the next 3 weeks. So they show Lexi and Mal first, and Lexi is just trying to make sure that Mal didn't feel weird about the way she kind of went in on Vanessa. And Mal is just reassuring her that, you know, no, I was fine with it. You know, I was very proud of you. You were very confident, bold, whatever. Lexi feels like she can really trust Mal, and she's fine with the two of them sharing the bed together. They both feel like everything is perfect, so we'll see. Ozzy and Mildred are both happy that they picked each other. Mildred talks about how, you know, I've been strong through this whole process, but I had to just let it out. I had to let my tears out tonight. It was just too much. And Ozzy is just really supportive. So right now things are going pretty well with them. So Sam and Tiff are next, and it's just so awkward. But even in this awkward moment, Tiff cannot read the room, and Tiff is like, so what do you think about Ozzy and Mildred? And it's like, why are you thinking about them right now? And that literally was like the look that was on Sam's face. And Sam was just like, I mean, I don't know. I wasn't really that surprised that they got together. I can see why they would like each other. And Tiff is just like, what, really? And Sam is like, yeah. Tiff starts talking about how emotional the choice dinner was, and Tiff is like, I felt it in my stomach, I felt it in my hands. And Sam is just like nodding along like, yeah, right. And it was literally like I was watching a therapy session, and as a counseling student myself, I was just like, wow, Sam has like really good body language. She's making her client Tiff feel really, really comfortable. And this is not even a therapy session, but that is what it was giving. Tiff tells Sam that I chose you because you have the characteristics that are closest to the person that I would marry, which was kind of weird. It was like, if I was going to marry someone, their characteristics would be closest to yours, so that's why I chose you. She says, you know, you're nurturing and you challenge me. It was kind of weird, but then Tiff just randomly starts talking about how their sleeping arrangements are gonna go, and she's like, you know, I'm about to go pick up my dog. My dog is getting groomed. I'm gonna pick up my dog. How do you feel about dogs sleeping in the bed with us? And Sam is like, you know, I don't know. My feet, I don't like my feet to feel claustrophobic, so it kind of depends. We'll see. And Tiff is just kind of like, okay, cool, but like I have to sleep with my dog. So are you cool with that or no? And Sam is like, I mean, I'm excited for you to have your dog here, but you know, I just have to see about the size of the dog. You know, we'll work it out. Sam is basically trying to tell Tiff, you know, I'm open to trying it. And Tiff is like, but you don't love it. It was so weird. It was like, I mean, I said I'm open to it. I have to see. That's literally what Sam said. And Tiff is just like, I don't know. I've never really dated someone that was hesitant about my dog. And it's like, are you being serious right now, Tiff? She didn't even say she was hesitant about your dog. She said she was fine with the dog. She just wasn't sure about the dog sleeping in the bed literally on top of her. What are you talking about? So again, Sam is reiterating, you know, I'm not hesitant about your dog. I'm just saying I don't know about the sleeping arrangements. And Tiff just cuts her off and is like, okay, but my dog is my child. Like, I'm always going to put my child first. And it's like, first of all, your dog is your dog. That's not your child. But anyway, Tiff is like, and if that bothers you, I'm just going to have to sleep on the couch with my dog. Was that supposed to be like a threat? Like, why would Sam care about that? Like, okay, sleep on the couch with your dog. Like, that's fine. I don't care. So next is Xander and Yoli, and they're just kind of getting comfortable, real comfortable. And Yoli has a confessional, and she's basically just talking about how she's learned that you have to put yourself first and you have to leave your relationship when you're not happy, just like how, you know, you leave a job when you're not happy. And I'm like, okay, that's a little different, but I see where you're trying to go with this, so I'll give it to you. Next, they show Ray and Vanessa. They're walking through their apartment. Vanessa is being her flirty, touchy-feely self, and you can just tell, like, Ray is not comfortable with this. That's not Ray's personality at all. But Vanessa is, you know, she's really trying. You know, she's trying to set a little vibe or whatever. They then go over and sit on the couch, and Vanessa is kind of trying to talk to Ray about, like, their future. And Ray is just like, girl, I'm about to go to bed. And in Ray's confessional, she's just like, it's just weird talking about this with a brand new person. It's weird doing all this living together stuff with a brand new person. Like, it's going to take me some time to get used to this. And she also says that she's a little worried because of all the stuff that people were saying about Vanessa. So it made her kind of feel like, okay, did I make the right choice? But at this point, she's like, I just got to go with it. And it's like, yeah, girl, you got to go with it at this point. You've already made your decision. So next is Ozzy and Mildred. Ozzy shows Mildred her love plant, and it was really cute because Mildred is like, okay, well, since it means so much to you, I'm going to help you take care of it, because if you care about it, then I'm going to care about it. And I thought that was a really sweet thing for Mildred to say. They talk about how they like to sleep and wanting each other to feel comfortable. Ozzy is saying that they're going to be cooking meals for Mildred, which comes up a little later, so put a pin in that. But for right now, they're doing well. They show Lexi and Mal over in the bed trying to figure out what their cuddle position is going to be. It was cute. They're good for right now as well. Vanessa is still trying to flirt with Ray. They're in the bed now, and she's just like complimenting her and telling her how beautiful she is. And Ray is just like, okay, girl, good night. That didn't really go anywhere, but Vanessa tried. Xander and Yoli are again very, very comfy. They're in the bed talking about their future. And Yoli asked Xander for a massage, since apparently Xander is like a physical therapist. We didn't know that until now. But anyway, Xander gives Yoli a massage, and Yoli really enjoys it. And in her confessional, Yoli is like, you know, I usually don't even like to be touched. I didn't even really like for Mal to touch me, but for some reason, Xander just really is so different. Like, I love being touched by Xander, and it's just like, oh my God. You can just tell Yoli is about to be real, real disrespectful to Mal. Like, you can just see it already. Like, you didn't even have to say all that. But anyway, that was episode 3. Wasn't really a lot going on there, so we're going to slide right into episode 4. So this episode starts with Ray and Vanessa going to get Vanessa's nipples pierced, which was super random and kind of weird. But anyway, Ray is saying, you know, that she loves how free-spirited Vanessa is because that's something that she doesn't really see in herself. And she feels like somebody like Vanessa can bring that side out of her. And I kind of picked up on this already. Like, I think Ray likes Vanessa because Vanessa has a lot of the qualities that Ray wishes she had. Ray, again, is a very uncomfortable, insecure, not confident person, and so she's attracted to Vanessa, who is very, very confident, almost arrogant. So it's kind of like this opposites attract type of thing, but I don't really know if that type of relationship is really sustainable in this case because Ray is just so different from Vanessa. So now they show Yoli on a date with Xander, and Yoli is just saying how she's just tired of the mother-child dynamic in a relationship, and Xander doesn't really have that childlike personality. And I thought this was kind of weird because to me, Mal, which is Yoli's original partner, didn't give me child. Like, I'm not really sure what Yoli is referring to when she says this. And of course, we've only seen, you know, short segments of each person, but Mal actually seemed like one of the more mature people on this show, along with Lexi, and that's why I felt like their relationship could actually blossom into something because they were both kind of on that same mature wavelength. So it was interesting to hear Yoli say that, and I was just kind of like, are you just saying that to say that? Because I don't see it. Xander says, you know, they thought they were so sure about their old partner Vanessa, but now they're not so sure, and it's all because of Yoli. And of course, this makes Yoli feel really nice, and there's that. Mildred and Ozzy have been living together for a week now, and Mildred just feels like a huge weight has been lifted off her. She feels very, very comfortable with Ozzy and is pretty happy in this trial marriage. Ozzy says, you know, I really can see a potential future with you, Mildred, so I really want to introduce you to my best friend. And so they're going to do that a little bit later on in the episode. Mal and Lexi are on a date, and Mal is just like, I feel like my rules are kind of bending with you. I just feel like, you know, I don't really have to stick to my timeline of waiting until I have everything in order before I propose. And Lexi is happy to hear this. And they both feel like they could build together, and they actually say that they could see the two of them leaving engaged to each other. So we'll see. So now we're back to Tiff and Sam. Tiff is cooking in the kitchen, and you can kind of tell that Tiff is still kind of mad. You know, Tiff is like, how did you sleep? And Sam is like, oh, you know, I slept pretty well, whatever. And Tiff is just like, okay, well, can we talk about the dog situation? And it's just like, Tiff, there is no dog situation. Like, you are making this a situation. There's literally not a problem. Sam does not have a problem with your dog. But all right, Sam is like, sure, let's talk. Tiff is like, well, you know, I slept on the couch last night with my dog because I was trying to compromise and I didn't want you to have to deal with my dog in the bed. But you know, Mildred, she was afraid of dogs when we first got together, but she put that to the side and dealt with it because she loved me, and I just feel like, you know, that's how it should be. And it's just like, just because Mildred did that doesn't mean that Sam has to do that. Mildred is somebody that you were with for a while. Y'all were in an actual committed relationship. You just met Sam on this TV show. She doesn't have to deal with your dog in her bed. Sam is, you know, still trying to be calm, and she's like, I mean, you know, I never said that I didn't like your dog. And Tiff is like, cuts her off and is just like, well, you know, my dog is non-negotiable. And it's just like, what is wrong with you? So they kind of cool off for a little bit, and Sam, you know, comes back and is just kind of tearful, and she's just like, I just feel like I've been put in a really bad position. I feel like you're kind of making me out to seem like I don't love animals and I'm not nurturing towards animals, but I literally am. And Tiff is just like, I just find that hard to believe. Tiff is a child. Tiff is very, very immature. And that comes out a lot with this whole dog conversation. Sam is just trying to tell Tiff, you know, I'm trying to respect your wishes and what you feel and your non-negotiables, but I also have to take care of myself. I have to also make sure that I'm comfortable in my own space. And Tiff is just like, I just feel like you don't care about my dog, and I don't want anyone around me who doesn't care about my dog. That is my child. And again, Tiff, your dog is not your child. Your dog is a dog. Please, please stop saying that. It's not your child. And second of all, that is your dog. Nobody else has to care about your dog or love your dog. You have to care and love your dog. I don't. And neither does Sam or anybody else. Like, please be serious. And I'm not really like a big dog person, so I might not be the best person to come to about this, but I know people that love dogs. My fiance literally loves dogs, and he would never act like this. Like, this is just very, very immature on Tiff's part, because again, it's your dog. Nobody else has to treat your dog the way that you would treat your dog. That's unrealistic to even expect. So now Sam is talking to the cameras, and I just felt so bad because Sam is really trying. You can tell, like, she is very teary-eyed, very sad about this situation, and she's just like, I just feel like I'm in basically a lose-lose situation, because basically Tiff only cares about this dog. Like, that is the most important relationship in Tiff's life, is the dog. And so she's like, okay, so what am I supposed to do with that? Like, what am I here for? And then they show another clip of them talking again, like in the living room, and Sam again is trying to come to Tiff and trying to explain her side, and she's just like, I just feel like I can't be what you want me to be. And I literally can't feel bad about that. And Tiff is like raising her voice. She's like, I just want you to act like you care about my dog. What's so hard about that? Just act like you care about my dog. And it's just like, oh my gosh. So you want her to just like fake it? Like, you want her to just, like, what do you want her to do? Like, it made no sense. And they show Tiff in her confessional, and Tiff is just like, I don't care how beautiful or amazing and perfect you are. If you don't care about my dog, you can go. And it's just like, you are a child. Tiff is not a serious adult. And I can see why Tiff and Mildred have so many issues. Like, if you can't get along with Sam, Sam is like the most calm, most patient, way more patient than me. Way more patient than me. And I'm a whole counseling student, and she's still more patient than me, because I would have been like, girl, I don't care about your dog, get over it. Oh my gosh. All right, back to the show. So now it's week 2 of the trial marriages. Yoli and Xander are all booed up, and they're saying how, oh, I wish I could like request another week. Like, I'm not ready for this to end. And it's just like, oh wow, y'all don't miss your partners at all, huh? Like, this was just very, very like, I don't know. It was kind of disrespectful, I felt, to their original partners that they came on this TV show with. But okay, I digress. Yoli is talking to the cameras, and she's like, you know, I don't love Mal any less. I just really, really like Xander. And it's just like, yeah, okay, girl. Yoli and Xander are sitting on the couch, and Yoli is basically like really, really coming on pretty strong to Xander. And Yoli is like, you know, everything with us is just really clicking on all cylinders, but we just haven't explored the sexual side, and I just really want to see what that's talking about. And Xander, I feel like Xander was like a little uncomfortable probably with how forward Yoli was being, but you can still tell that, you know, Xander was down for it. So yeah. So next, Ozzy introduces Mildred to their best friend Mo, and Mo seems pretty chill, and like immediately when Mo came in, it was like a whole different Ozzy. So Ozzy is like laughing and just so light and childlike. Like it was really, really cute. And even Mildred picked up on this. She's like, Ozzy, I've never seen you like this. And it's like, yeah, girl, because you don't even know Ozzy. That's why. So Mo basically like gets straight to it. She's like, okay, so have y'all like done anything sexually? And they're both like, no. I don't really even think that Ozzy and Mildred even have that much chemistry. I think they just kind of chose each other because Mildred felt like she was kind of like changing Ozzy a little bit, and that's why she chose them. So Mo basically wants them to kind of catch her up, and Mildred is like, well, you know, I'm a single mom and I'm just ready to be committed with somebody. And she's like, at first Ozzy was very hesitant about marriage, but after like 3 dates, Ozzy completely changed and said that they're ready for marriage. And Mo is like, huh? Mo was like, who you talking about? My friend Ozzy said that? And Ozzy is just kind of like it was so awkward. And then Mo was like, so Ozzy, that's how you feel? Because, you know, I've never heard you say that before. I've known you for a long time, and you have always been afraid of commitment. And Ozzy is just like, well, yeah, I mean, I'm scared to be stuck in a marriage. Like, I feel like I don't really want that. And Mildred's face just like drops, because Mildred really thought that Ozzy wanted to get married now. Like, Mildred really thought that she had that much impact on Ozzy that Ozzy miraculously all of a sudden wanted to be married. And I literally said in my last video, I'm like, this person has not wanted to get married for like 42 years. And you think after a few dates with you, all of a sudden they're gonna change. Like, that just wasn't realistic on Mildred's part. But anyway, Mildred gets emotional about this. It just kind of feels like Ozzy lied. And it's just kind of like, I mean, you just didn't really know Ozzy that much. It's okay. So next is Tiff and Sam's little awkward date. Like, at first they're not really talking. I'm assuming they probably haven't talked since their argument. But anyway, Tiff is like, hey, did me raising my voice and the way that I was talking to you during the argument hurt you? And Sam nods and it's like, yeah, that hurt me. I didn't like that. And then Sam basically confirms what I already figured, which is that she plays the therapist role in most of her relationships. She says that with a lot of her exes, including Ozzy, she has to kind of deal with their triggers and their traumas, and she tries to just kind of walk around them, walk on eggshells to try not to set them off. Sam says that she doesn't really get to talk to them the way that she would like to, and she doesn't want this to happen with Tiff. Tiff apologizes and says, you know, I feel like we're on the same team and I'm ready to move forward. In Tiff's little confessional with the cameras, she recognizes that she probably went back into her old patterns that she used to do with Mildred, and she knows that she needs to work on that. And it's like, yeah, you can definitely tell that Tiff is used to arguing. She argues a lot with Mildred, and I think Sam's more calm approach, I feel like Tiff didn't really know what to do with that, and so she just kept the argument going way longer than it needed to. So Ray and Vanessa go on like a little beach date. Ray says she's learning how to just trust herself and trust her own intuition and make decisions on her own. Vanessa is basically still saying that she doesn't know if she wants a long-term relationship or if she just wants a hookup. So she's kind of trying to still figure it out. In Vanessa's confessional, she says, you know, she just doesn't know if she wants to limit herself to just one person since there's so many people in the world. And she knows that if she were to choose one, she would feel like she was missing out. And then the two of them just go off and run into the water. They then cut to Lexi and Mal, and Lexi is basically just telling Mal, like, you know, I have some insecurities with my body, and Mal is very supportive. Mal is reassuring her that, you know, she thinks her body is beautiful, but she wants her to always feel comfortable, and so she's not going to be too physical or touchy-feely unless Lexi is ready. And again, like, Mal just seems so mature. Like, I do not understand why Yoli said that Mal is childlike, but whatever. So now Ozzy and Mildred. Mildred is up early. Ozzy is still sleeping in the bed, and Mildred is like cleaning up, you know, cleaning the countertops, all that sort of thing. And eventually Ozzy wakes up and she thanks Mildred for cooking and cleaning, and just says, you know, I'm really not a morning person, but I'm gonna try to help out more. And Mildred is just like, yeah, I'm gonna need you to do a little bit more. And Ozzy starts to shut down pretty immediately. Mildred is like, you know, I don't have that luxury. I have to be a morning person because I have to get up, I have to cook breakfast, I have to get to work, and then I also have to wait for you to come out of the bathroom. She's just doing so much that she's not used to doing because Tiff used to do a lot of it. Especially the cooking, because pretty much Tiff did all the cooking in their relationship, and so now Mildred is doing the cooking. And Mildred is like, remember you said, Ozzy, that you were going to be cooking for me, and that hasn't really been happening. And Ozzy's like, oh, you know what, I'm so sorry about that. I've been going out with my friends and we've been going out to eat, and then I'll just bring back leftovers and eat, and so that's why I haven't been cooking. And Mildred is just like, okay, so you've been going out with your friends getting food and I'm at home starving. It's like, Ozzy, you could at least be like trying to bring some food back for Mildred too. Like, that was pretty messed up. Mildred feels like ever since they had their meeting up with Mo, Ozzy has just changed. And it's just like, Mildred girl, no, this is Ozzy. Ozzy was showing you a certain version in the beginning, but nobody can keep that up for too long. So that was not real. What you're seeing now is how Ozzy actually is, which is what, you know, we were trying to tell you, not to get too excited. Ozzy is just like, yeah, I don't know what's going on with me. Like, I usually cook all the time at home. I don't know if I believe that, but anyway. And Mildred is like, so does that mean I have to go home to get you to cook for me? Mildred definitely has a slick mouth, so I can see how she and Tiff would get into it a lot, because Mildred, she likes to say some little slick things. She's telling Ozzy, like, I have to feel safe in a relationship. I have to feel like I have to trust you, and I just don't trust you right now. And you can see Ozzy is shutting more and more down, and in Ozzy's confessional, Ozzy's like, I'm just not really good at conflict and confrontation. I try to just disappear, and we can definitely tell. And we know that's going to be an issue because Mildred is very confrontational. So putting somebody that's very confrontational with somebody that tries to avoid confrontation at all costs, you know there's going to be a blow up at some point. So next they switch to Vanessa and Ray. They're laying in bed, kind of talking, flirting, and then they turn the lights off, and you can tell that something went down by the audio, but you can't actually see anything, but we know something happened. And then they switch to Xander and Yoli. Similar type of thing. They're very flirty, all that stuff, and you can see something went down with the two of them too, and it's just like, oh my god, this is going to be a problem. They show Ray waking up the next morning, and Ray just looks like distraught. Like, Ray looks so upset about whatever happened with her and Vanessa. She goes out on the balcony. Vanessa eventually gets up and she goes outside with Ray, and Vanessa can tell that something is wrong with Ray. Ray eventually tells her, you know, I texted Vanessa and told her everything that happened. Lexi replied and was like, you know, we're probably not going to have a future now. I have to tell my whole family that this happened. I have to tell my grandfather that you did this. And it's just kind of like, all right, Lexi, that's a little bit much. Like, why would you tell your grandfather this? Like, that was weird. And I feel like it might be like a little bit emotionally manipulative, because Lexi knows that Ray already has low self-esteem and Ray already feels bad about herself in general. And so it almost seems like Lexi is trying to make her feel even worse about it. And I just felt like that was kind of wrong. So Vanessa is clearly a little uncomfortable with this. And so she tries to kind of lighten up the mood. And she's like, well, did you remind Lexi how irresistible I am? It's like, Vanessa, please be serious for 1 second. Very unserious. But Vanessa is basically like, I mean, this is weird, because Lexi kept saying how everybody needs to lean into this experience and really commit to it. And Vanessa's like, that's what we did. We committed to it, right? So she can't really be mad. And I'm like, Vanessa kind of has a point. I mean, y'all did bring your partners on this show, and you knew that was a potential possibility. So you can't really be that mad. Like, I'm sorry. So now we cut to Lexi and Mal, and Lexi is a mess. Lexi is crying. She's so upset. And essentially, she's just like reiterating what she's been saying about how Vanessa is not here for the right reasons and she's not a good person. And she just seems to be really hung up on the fact that not only did Ray hook up with somebody, but Ray hooked up with a person like that. It seems like she just really dislikes Vanessa. And so that is what is driving her being so upset about the situation, is that Ray would hook up with her. Lexi is telling Mal, like, why would I ever want to marry somebody like that? And Mal is just being really supportive. You can tell, like, Mal is a little irritated by this. You know, Mal is like, you know, I hate that this happened because it has kind of like disrupted what we had going on, but I'm gonna be here for you. And they hug and they say they love each other. So it was a sweet moment. Ozzy and Mildred are now getting ready to go out. They're going to go and meet up with all the other people on the show. And you can just tell, like, Ozzy is not in the mood. Mildred is in the bathroom getting ready. She's trying to talk and, you know, she's in a good mood. And Ozzy's just kind of being a little short. Mildred's just trying to figure out, like, you know, when does Ozzy need the bathroom? Like, when you need to come in here and get ready so I can, you know, finish up what I'm trying to do. And Ozzy's just like, oh, it's fine, mate. Whenever you're ready, mate. And it's just like, why do you keep calling her mate? Like, it was very, very weird. It was kind of giving like passive aggressive a little bit. And they kind of just get into like a little argument. And Ozzy just randomly is like, you just always are trying to make me look bad on camera, mate. And Mildred is like, how do I try to make you look bad on camera? And then Ozzy's like, well, I don't want to talk about it. And Mildred's like, oh, you brought it up. So now we got to talk about it. And I'm Mildred on this, because I don't like when people bring up things to me and then they try to be like, oh, no, I don't want to argue, or no, I don't want to talk about it. It's like, you brought it up. So now it's out there. Now we have to talk about it. But Ozzy, being so non-confrontational, Ozzy likes to just drop little things and then walk out. And so I feel like that's what Ozzy probably does a lot with Sam. And Sam probably allows Ozzy to do this, but not Mildred. Mildred goes on and on. Mildred is not the type of person to let things go. Mildred is like, I know you're used to having the last word, but I'm gonna have the last word today. So again, two people that just were gonna clash no matter what, because confrontational versus non-confrontational. So now it's the group night out, and it's split into two groups. So the first group is Xander, Sam, Mal, Ray, and Mildred. So they're kind of just talking about their new partners. Mal is trying to get Xander to spill some tea on Yoli, but Xander isn't really trying to say too much. And Mal immediately picks up that Xander's being a little secretive, and Mal is like, yeah, you are hiding something. Like, you're not slick. Mildred is not trying to hide anything. Mildred is like, Ozzy does not communicate. Like, Sam, how do you deal with this? Because it's a lot. Sam is like, well, you know, it is hard to communicate with Ozzy. Ozzy is very avoidant, and so I've learned to just kind of let Ozzy take some time to themselves and then come back later and try to talk. And Mildred is like, so you just don't talk to each other? And Sam is like, well, you know, I just don't talk to Ozzy when Ozzy is in a triggered state. And Mildred is like, well, when is Ozzy not in a triggered state? Because I feel like I can never talk to Ozzy. Sam is like, well, you know, Ozzy really likes to go and listen to their meditations. They like to be with friends. And then when they come back, we're usually able to have the conversation. And Mildred is not trying to hear this. Mildred is like, okay, well, nah. Ozzy is a grown person. They need to step it up. They need to learn how to communicate. And I don't think that Ozzy needs somebody that's just going to hold their hand. And Sam is like, well, you know, it's funny that you brought that up because me and Tiff are like doing great with our communication. And I was like, all right, Sam, I saw what you did there. That was good. That was good. Mildred is actually kind of surprised. Mildred's like, wait, so y'all have not been arguing? And Sam's like, you know, we went through a few little things in the beginning, but we got through those things and I've learned how to speak up for myself more, and Tiff is doing a lot better with how they're communicating with me, and so we're doing well. And in this moment, I'm like, I feel like Mildred and Sam could both learn things from each other. Like, I almost feel like y'all should have done a trial marriage because y'all could have really learned some things. Like, Mildred does need to bring it down a little bit and learn how to listen a little bit more, which Sam is really great at. But at the same time, Sam does need to be a little more assertive with her partners, especially with Ozzy, and not let Ozzy off the hook so easily. So I think the two of them could kind of balance each other, but they're not a couple, so whatever. So now they show the other group, which is Vanessa, Tiff, Yoli, Lexi, and Ozzy. Tiff, you know, is saying all the right things. Tiff is like, you know, I've really learned how to show up better in love, and it's just kind of like, if you say so. Vanessa tells them that she went and got her nipples pierced, and everyone is just kind of silent except for Lexi. And Lexi is just like, that's horrible. Like, girl, why would you say that? Lexi then lets them know that she has convinced Mal to get married. Yoli's like, you know, it's just been so wonderful with Xander. Xander is just such a wonderful, amazing person. I can't believe that Xander hasn't been picked up yet. Like, you can tell that Yoli's trying to get under Vanessa's skin right now. And Vanessa's just like, yeah, I know Xander is wonderful. I mean, that's why we were together. And Yoli is like, okay, Vanessa, but what value do you bring to Xander's life? And Vanessa is just like, I mean, I don't really know. I'm trying to work on that. And Yoli's like, how do you be together with somebody for 4 years and you don't know if you bring any value to their life? And Vanessa's just like, you know, to be honest, I've just been blessed to have amazing partners that love me, and I really don't have to do that much. And I'm just kind of like, well, you know, at least Vanessa is honest. Like, Vanessa, she kind of can rub you the wrong way, but she's always going to be real with you and always tell her truth. And I would say that that's Vanessa's partner's problems. Like, if they don't make Vanessa step up and be better, that's not really her fault. That's their fault for accepting it. So if Xander was fine with Vanessa not bringing much to the table, that's on Xander. Yoli. So Yoli is talking to the cameras and she's just like, I just feel really bad for Vanessa, you know? She's trying so hard not to seem like a bad person, but she's not really doing a good job because she looks like a bad person. And I'm kind of like, well, Yoli, you kind of look like a bad person too, because you're doing all this and acting like you are just this upstanding person. Meanwhile, you are making your real girl, Mal, look crazy. The way that you're doing all this stuff with Xander. So, like, Yoli's rubbing me the wrong way. So in the other group, Mildred is trying to get some tea. She's like, has anything physical happened with anybody? And nobody's really trying to talk about it much. And Ray makes herself look so suspicious because she gets up and she's like, hey Mal, you want to go get a drink with me? Like, girl, we know you're trying to hide something. So the two of them go over to the bar. And Ray basically apologizes to Mal because she's like, I know I probably made things a little awkward with you and Lexi, but I just really wanted her to know. And Mal's just like, I mean, you know, you don't have to apologize, but I would not have told my partner Yoli if I had done something with Lexi. Like, I just would not have done that, so whatever, but I'm not mad at you. And Ray's just like, I just don't know if Xander knows about me and Vanessa, and I don't want to be the one to tell her, so that's why I brought you over here. But after they have like a little bit of a talk, they do end up going back to the group, and they kind of walk in on a serious conversation, and they're basically going in on Xander about Vanessa. And Xander is just kind of like, I mean, I'm not gonna keep defending Vanessa. Like, I'm not Vanessa, I'm Xander. So whatever y'all have an issue with, y'all gotta ask Vanessa these questions. Like, I don't know. And Xander gets up and walks away. And I'm actually proud of Xander for this, because it's like, at some point, like, y'all are just doing too much. Like, I understand y'all don't like Vanessa, but what does that have to do with Xander right now? Like, right now in this experiment, they are broken up. So, like, why do you want Xander to answer for Vanessa? Like, it's just really weird. It's giving y'all are way too interested in Vanessa at this point. So they switch back to the other group, and Vanessa is just saying, you know, I'm so glad that I chose Ray for my trial marriage. We're having a really good time. We're just kind of trying to take things slow. And that take things slow really triggered Lexi. Lexi is just like, take things slow? Y'all haven't been taking these slow? You literally effed Ray. And it was like, she said the actual word. And it was just so like out of place and a little bit inappropriate. And it just gets really tense. Everybody's just kind of looking around like... Ozzy looks probably more uncomfortable than anybody, because, you know, Ozzy hates confrontation. So Ozzy's just like... It was so weird, y'all. But anyway, Vanessa is like, okay, Lexi, I think you might just be a little bit frustrated because she told you. And Lexi's just like, I mean, are you even attracted to Ray? And Vanessa is like, I mean, as a friend. And she's like, no, I mean like romantically. And Vanessa's like, I mean, no, like, we're friends. I look at Ray as a friend. And then here goes Yoli jumping in. What? Nah, I don't do that with my friends. Do y'all do that with your friends? Do any of y'all do that with your friends? And it's just like, oh my gosh. Y'all not about to act like friends don't do stuff sometimes. Like, friends with benefits is a thing. Like, let's be for real. Lexi is asking Vanessa, like, okay, well, who kissed who first? And it just was giving very much, is this high school? Like, what are y'all talking about? Vanessa's like, girl, I do not know. I don't know who kissed who first. Like, that's not even important to me. And they keep asking more and more questions. And eventually, Vanessa is just like, I really think you need to talk to Ray, because I don't have anything for you. And I agree. Like, Lexi, I understand you're mad at Vanessa, but your real beef, if there is a beef, it should be with Ray. Like, that's your girl or ex-girl, whatever. So go talk to her. Don't talk to us. All right, y'all. So that was the end of episode 4. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you were thinking around this point. Give me which couples you're feeling, which ones you're not feeling. And make sure you give this video a thumbs up. It really helps to spread my videos. And also, don't forget to join the clique by hitting that subscribe button if you have not already done so. And I will see y'all in my next recap video. Bye.